we live in a world that is very divisive. And we face in our cultures and not just between nations, but within a nation or in a community, there's so much divisiveness. And how would you approach this? How would you disagree with someone, yet remain very respectful, very loving in heart, and very kind in your communications? How can you do that even when you disagree, not to be divisive?
I think it's important to, first of all, differentiate what is the importance. You know, whether that issue is something, it is actually an issue of justice. Because if it's an issue of justice, I will so clearly disagree. And,
this is a woman of justice right here. I
and
love
so,
it.
And so with that, of course, then it's very difficult to get into a place where you can remain loving, because if you don't agree with some situation that's unjust, then they don't want you near them anyway. So that's a different ballgame. But when it comes to a place of understanding, what is that's bringing the divisiveness? What is it it's almost like, you know, you say divisive.
Divisiveness?
And I say divisiveness.
Okay.
Well, I could sit here and I say, well, I think you got it wrong. You know, and you could say, well, that's how we say it. And I said, well, that's not how we say it. And it comes into a point of saying, well, what is it that brings the division? Is it our own stubbornness that we want to prove our point? Or is it actually something of value that actually makes a difference in the community? Or is it something that actually, if someone is going to do something, it's going to affect other people's lives? Well, if you're in a place you can influence and you can do something about that effect, then you can come alongside and you can bring your part that can maybe bring a greater level of communication, that maybe there's a change of understanding of what the divisiveness is, so you can start to work together and broaden what that situation is. So it actually doesn't become a divisive issue, it becomes more of a bridge.
Yes.
So that's one aspect. But then there's other things that actually you can't have a say. And that person is still going to do that thing, and you just have to suck it up. That's the way it is. But how you respond will either break or make that situation worse. So I've been in a number of situations where I haven't agreed how someone has felt to do something, and I know other people are going to be affected. Then I have to look, one, is this my sphere?
There you go.
Is this really my responsibility? It's like, you know, if I ask my kids to tidy something up and I expect it to be done a certain way, if it's not done that way, it's like, well, that's not how I asked you to do it. But I can't go into somebody else's house and say, okay, this is how you're supposed to do it. So I need to know what my sphere is and what my responsibility is within that. Because I can't just go, you know, gung-ho and say, okay, you know, I don't agree with you and this is how you've got to do it and you must do this. There has to be that place of understanding, is this my responsibility? Is this my area? And if it's not, and actually you're not supposed to even be in that area, bless them. It's none of your business. Why are you getting into something that's none of your business? I think the other aspect is that if it is, like I said, an issue of injustice, maybe there's a place of education. Maybe there's a place of you need educated as well as they need educated. Maybe it's your opinion from your past situations that you're coming into that place of divisiveness. So I think we need to look at the full picture. You know, I would have to see, where am I reacting that way? Why am I so causing, no, I can't do this? Because if I don't sort out why there's a divisive situation, I can't then make a position that is positive to value that person. I need to know where I am at in the midst of it. And if I know where I'm at, and if I'm in the wrong, I know exactly how to value that person. And if it's an area of bridging, I know exactly how to get alongside. And if it's an area that actually that's injustice, then I know I can say something and say, this is unjust. And if you really want me on board, if you value, this is what you need to realize is what I believe, and you're going to know when this subject comes up, there's not going to be any give in this, because this is what I believe is right. And so what I found in situations is that when those communications are clear, and if people value you and they value what your input is or what your relationship is, actually either they'll be willing to work with it, there'll be a bridge in the situation, there will be an understanding both ways, to communicate both ways that we both learn, or there will be a parting of the ways. And so whatever that way is, I think it's not a clear cut, okay, you need to respond this way. I need to look at where I'm at. People need to look where they're at. Is it their sphere? Are they putting their nose into something? You know, it's like, I can come over here and I can talk about your political arena. I live in the UK. I might like to talk about your political arena, but that doesn't give me a right to have an opinion that will cause chaos.
I've always said, if I don't have responsibility, then my opinion is irrelevant. And I've also learned that I have to determine, do I want to be right in this thing, or do I want to have relationship?
That's it.
And really looking at really what is going to produce the greatest amount of fruit to bring unity, to bring, you know, a coming together of relationships. And one thing that's really important to me is I love how you divided it, because when it comes to justice issues, right and wrong, there are black and whites.
There are black and whites.
But in many situations, we actually having differences of opinion make us better together.
That's right.
Because you're seeing things and I'm seeing things from different perspectives.
That's right.
And when we come together with those different perspectives, then we're actually doing something so much better.
Oh,
I look at things differently as a baby boomer than a millennial might look at them. But boy, do I need their opinion.
Most definitely.
And they need mine.
That's it.
And so in those areas are the areas that we can really unite and have a powerful synergy that builds something big together.
Yeah.
But I love in issues of justice, you know, right and wrong, where someone is being devalued, that is unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Especially in the realm that we have authority.
That's it.
So,
that's it. But it's so true. When it's a place that actually we can be educated and bring education, we just broaden the whole sphere. And actually, we celebrate a place where freedom, where people can reign in a greater measure.
Yes.
Rather than think, okay, that's your little group, that's my little group, and we're not going to make any communication here. But you're so right in that place of being able to bring the greater level out on the playing field that we can all benefit from.
Yeah, and
we need each other.
Celebrate that diversity.
We need each other.
Yeah.
You know, married to a Sri Lankan, with 8 kids living in England, traveling the nations. How diverse can you get? You know, it's like you can't have a solid, this is how it has to be done, because this is not how it has to be done. It's okay. Where are we and what the actual call is?
Exactly. Awesome dialogue. Thank you so much.
Thank you.